Just give me one moment and go ahead and unmute yourself, Sue. There you go. Lovely. We'll go ahead and start taking questions for Sue. We are going to start with Percy Allen with the Seattle Times.
Awesome. Hey, Sue, I'm just like wondering, is this trip to Tokyo, I guess, as special to you as the one you took, what, 17 years ago when you made your Olympic debut in Athens?
Yeah, of course. I think each Olympics is at a different, point in your life, but, or I should say each Olympics is at a different point in your life. So, there are going to be differences in how you feel, but they're all kind of special in their own way. So this doesn't feel that much different. It's still exciting, still going to be challenging. Obviously, what makes this so unique is that it's been put off for a year, and there are the challenges of COVID that still exist. So we'll see how it goes.
Awesome, Sue. Thank you.
Okay.
Throwing next to Doug Feinberg.
Hey, Sue, good to see you. Congrats on making number 5.
Thank you.
So I'm curious. I mean, Carol called you. Was there surprise? Was she joking around with you? Like, how did the 5th call you've gotten many times from her saying, "Hey, you're on the Olympic team"? So how did that call go with you today, or whenever it was?
That's between me and Carol. Can't let you have all the goods. No, I mean, every time, it's approaching, once you kind of learn how the logistics of it all go, there's going to be a call, right? Like, that it's something's coming. So we all kind of knew that the team was going to be announced today. So I think those of us that have done this before knew a call was coming a couple days or so before. You never know. But then once her name pops up, you kind of have an idea what it is. But she calls everybody, so whether you've made the team or not, there's a phone call made. So obviously you have to answer and see what happens. This time I missed it. I actually missed it. And she was just like, "Hey, call me back." So I still didn't know until she told me.
But is there like concern? I mean, you've been through this 4 times. Like, it was like, oh my God, like other players their first time. Like, is this a good call or a bad call? I'm getting probably a good call. I'm thinking.
I don't know. I don't know. It's like even my first Olympics, I never thought one way or the other. I'm not like bullshitting you here. It's like I don't even tell my parents when I get the call. I barely tell Megan when I get the call. I don't know. I'm just kind of, I don't know. I'm not really, I'm not that much different as a person as I am as a player. Not too many highs, not too many lows. I try to keep it even keel. So the same goes for a moment like this. I tend to celebrate kind of after the fact, after the win, when things are done and I've taken care of business.
Thanks, Sue. Don't ever change.
We'll go next to Adam Best with the Journal-Inquirer.
Hey, Sue, congratulations. 5th Olympics for you. What keeps you motivated to continue to want to play at that high level?
I find this question to be funny. I think if you're an athlete and you're, I've always said this, if you're physically able and you're still, enjoying it and having fun with it, the motivation, that never changes. I think what happens as you get older is things get harder, right? Like physically they get a little harder. Maybe you're not as mentally into it as you once were as a young kid. But the motivation part never changes. Winning is fun. I think when you are headed to an event like the Olympics and you're representing your country's best, it's not hard to be motivated to want to get there. That part never changes. I think, again, for athletes, some of the other stuff that goes around that is what might make it a little harder to stay motivated, but I don't think the motivation ever really changes. It hasn't for me. I still, even at this age and everything I've accomplished, I still feel like I have something to prove. I'm sure there are people out there like, what's a 40-year-old doing on this team? Well, thanks for the motivation.
Awesome. Thank you.
And we'll go over to Japan and Takashi Shibata.
Hello, Sue. This is Takeshi Shibata from Tokyo, Japan. And congratulations on your national team selection this time. And my question is about Team Japan. I think you have a few times played against our team. So if you have some kind of general impression, and if you have something about the current squad, please share with me.
Sure. The truth is, the last time we played against Japan was at the Rio Olympics in 2016. And the truth is, I'm not really sure what the current squad looks like. Obviously Tak is a player that played here. I cannot read Japanese, but she posted something recently that kind of looked like she might not be playing. So I don't know if that's a question mark there. But what I can say about the previous team was they had a really tough style to play against. I know they had American coaches help them. And I know one of them was Corey Gaines and he's right out of the Paul Westhead playbook and you could sense it. They were a team that liked to get up and down. They wanted to shoot a lot of threes. They moved without the ball very well. And then they had Tak in the middle, who's this versatile post player who can beat you from the outside. She's athletic on the inside. So it made them really difficult to guard. So that's my memory of playing against Japan.
Okay, I want to tell you, Taku tore her ACL, so
Okay, yeah.
she's not playing. So
Yeah, I'm really sad to hear that.
unfortunately, yep.
Yeah, no, like I said, from the Instagram post, like I could tell it was something. It was just when I hit translate, it kind of came up weird. So I didn't want to make any assumptions. I'm really sad to hear that.
Okay. Anyways, thank you so much and welcome to Tokyo.
Thank you.
And next we've got Mark Larson from Spectrum One in Syracuse.
Hey, Sue, congratulations to you. I wanted to ask you about a question about one of your teammates, both Olympic and Seattle, Brianne Stewart, who obviously is from here. And, last Olympics, she was on the team, but was more of a role player. What more do you expect to see out of her in this Olympics?
I think we've all kind of seen and watched Stewie evolve over the last, let's call it, 5 years since she got drafted. That year was the same year as the Rio Olympics. So I think it was a great experience for her. But if you fast forward 2 years to 2018, she was the MVP of the World Cup. So that evolution happened pretty fast. And I think that just speaks to Stewie's talent, her versatility for sure. In 2018, she had to play the guard spot for us pretty much the entire tournament and still was able to be named the MVP, which is incredibly impressive. And really what you've seen the last couple of years is just her continuing down that path of, getting better, adding things to her game, getting more consistent, getting, with age always comes a little bit of maturity. That experience really helps in the consistency department. And I think you're just watching Stewie grow. So that's really how I would frame it, from day one of her becoming a professional athlete to now, she's just really grown within her game. And the proof's in the pudding. I mean, she's playing great, and I'm sure she'll be really important for us in Tokyo as well.
Yeah, I'm not saying you're ready to pass the torch yet, but she's only 26. Is she ready to take it?
Like I said, I think I don't. It's not my torch to pass, to be honest. I'm just there to kind of help her, both here in Seattle and with USA Basketball, and she's doing it on her own. She's doing the rest. I think again, she's proving time and time again. Every time she steps on the floor, she's one of the best players in the world. It has nothing to do with me.
Thanks, Sue.
Thank you. Next, M. Adler with the next. I'm sorry, we are going to have to come back to you. You had way too much feedback there. If you can get to a better place, shoot me a text or shoot me a note. Raphael Haynes with a 3-point conversion.
Hello, Sue. How are you doing? This is Raphael Haynes with the 3-point conversion. Congrats on making the USA team. I asked your close friend Diana this question as well. Knowing that you're used to playing with your competitors, now the fact that you are playing together in the USA Olympics, can you talk about the camaraderie of the ladies and how fun it is and what makes it special?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, I think that's the best part of being on this team. The minute we all get together, all the competition, all the tough battles in the WNBA, that kind of just gets put to the side. Nobody really brings that with them. If anything, we're probably just thrilled we don't have to guard each other. Now it's somebody else's problem to kind of figure us out. And then we just, the chemistry just clicks. I think it's really enjoyable to play with the world and with the country's best. And so we just get out there and we try to have fun. But that's also what's unique, I think, about women's basketball, in that, you know, we're one of the few sports that play year round, but also play on different teams year round, whether it's your WNBA team, your overseas team, your national team. You're constantly kind of a teammate of somebody, an enemy of somebody, and vice versa, and it switches all the time. So it makes for, I don't know, we just have kind of like this small community. And when you're within that community, this is what happens. You know, when it's time to step on the floor and compete against each other, you do. And then when you can put on the USA jersey and be teammates, immediately it kind of clicks. And like I said, that chemistry kicks in, and we just have fun with it, both on and off the court.
Thank you. We'll next throw it to Art, and I apologize if I didn't pronounce your name correctly, Aristides Katsitis from Greece.
Okay, nice pronunciation. Hello, greetings from Greece. Can you describe your feelings when you won an Olympic gold medal? You won 4 gold medals. And which memories can you stood out from your first Olympic Games gold medal in Athens in 2004?
Sure. I think when you win, for me personally, it's a great deal of like satisfaction. I think that would be the word I would choose. Definitely achievement. You know, my story, which is now unique in a good way, is that there was no WNBA growing up. You know, a lot of the other players on this team had the WNBA growing up to look up to aspire to get to. For me, it was the Olympics. That was the end all be all. There was nothing really else to achieve to reach for. And so with that, you know, the times that I've been able to stand on that podium and have the gold medal put on my neck, it's been, like I said, just pure satisfaction knowing that I had that goal as a young kid. It got kind of put on my radar in like the middle of high school when I went to watch the team, and when they were on their tour in '95, and I saw Jen Azzi and she looked like me. That was my see it, be it moment. So for me, it's kind of, I don't know, it's really the goal of a lifetime that's getting achieved when I'm standing on that podium. And the second part of your question was, what was memories from my first Olympics? I think, you know, the memory from my first Olympics is opening ceremonies, because Dawn got selected as the flag bearer. So we all got to be at the front of like the US congregation as we walked in to the stadium. And, you know, so it was my first time. We're at the front, we hear the crowd go crazy. It was pretty incredible, to be honest. You never really know what it's going to be like. And that was a one of a kind moment. My other favorite memory from my first Olympics, and listen, I knew an Olympic gold medal was important, but this kind of made me realize just how important in some weird way. We were on the flight home. We actually fly together, usually on some sort of charter plane back to the States. And then once we land, we all kind of go our separate ways. And I was on a flight to Seattle, and the flight attendant recognized me and asked if I had my gold medal with me. And I was like, yeah, of course I do. So she asked if the pilots could see it. And before I knew it, that gold medal, you know, literally fresh out of Athens, like 1 day old, was being passed up and down the aisles of that airplane. You know, people just wanted to see it. They wanted to touch it. And it was really in that moment. For me, it was a goal as like an athlete, because it meant, you know, so much more than just sports. But it was in that moment where I realized, like, oh, this impacts Americans and just people worldwide. And this has significant meaning behind it. And you're representing all of these people. So both those memories are what I most remember from Athens.
Thank you very much.
We've got 2 more questions. Alexa from the Hartford Courant, and we're going to close it out with Michelle Vogel from ESPN.
Hey, Sue, congratulations. With half the team this year being first-time Olympians, I'm just curious over the years what you've learned about how to integrate those new players in, and how best to also just lead them by example as a veteran on the team.
Yeah, I mean, there's no secret sauce to it. They're here for a reason. So I think first and foremost, you always want to remind players of that. You know, sometimes when we put on that jersey and we step onto the floor against other teams, there can be a little bit of like an intimidating factor to it. So you just want to remind players they're on this team for a reason, you know, and they just have to bring that. They don't have to be anything other than themselves. And then within that, I think day by day, with each practice, with each meeting, you just get a little more comfortable. And I think as older players, what we can help do is try to make everybody just a little more comfortable. Because I'll be honest, like playing for USA basketball at the Olympics is can be really, I've talked about this before, it can be really uncomfortable because we don't have a lot of practice time. So you're just trying to, move that process forward as much as you can, get everybody comfortable, and then remind everyone to have fun. I think Dee and I, especially Dee, do a good job of that, like trying to keep it light, trying to have fun in the moments when you can, because this is the Olympics. You want to enjoy it. You want to slog through it and be stressed. You want to make sure you're having fun with it. And then the basketball, that can kind of take care of itself. You can worry about that in practice. You can worry about that in game prep. And otherwise, you just want to make sure you're enjoying it.
Thank you. And our final question will come from Michelle Volpel, and then we've got Stewie on deck and ready to go.
Hey, Sue, if I could follow up a little bit, I believe that for the first timers are guards, and I wonder if you could sort of address the guards specifically. And there's kind of an age range here with Ariel, who I think is 24, Skylar will turn 31, but they all bring a lot. But can you address them specifically, the guard core that'll be first timers?
Sure. I mean, so one part of it is, with the youth that we have on the team, youth goes a long way. I can speak to experience with that recently in my Seattle Storm experience. Youth and the energy they bring, it can really, I don't know, it can bring an exciting element to a team. It can keep things fresh. And so for the younger players like an Ariel, I would definitely want them to do that, to bring that every day. Because youth can overcome a lot. Old people, we can't overcome everything, but young people, they can overcome a lot out there. So it's always important for them to bring that energy. And I think for the other guards, you mentioned Skylar, but also Chelsea, Jewel, it might not be on the Olympic stage, but they have a ton of experience to pull from. And that's also what's unique about women's basketball, whether it's someone like Chelsea, Jewel a little bit, playing overseas, especially Chelsea. Chelsea's been playing overseas now. So this game isn't much different from what she's seen. And for Jewel and Skylar, I know Skylar hasn't played overseas as much, but she's now had, quite a few USA basketball experiences, both her and Jewel under their belt. And, to be honest, the way I think of it and the way I would talk to them about it is these teams got to guard you. Don't worry so much about how you have to bring your game and let these teams worry about guarding you. Because I guarantee you, even though they haven't experienced the Olympic stage just yet, some of these teams haven't experienced guards that play like them.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sue. We appreciate your time, and congratulations again on a 5th.
Thank you. See you guys.